Okay, thanks for joining us again. I'm Inger. I'm the one who teaches Pilates here to the employees at the rec center. This is Kim Sweeney. She's volunteered for us today to be our demo body. So we're going to do mostly extension exercises today. If you watched the previous two videos, we did mostly flexion exercises. So anytime we go into spinal extension, we're working our back muscles. We're going to go through though the traditional warm-up just so that we get our bodies warmed up before we start doing the exercises. So join us. We're going to sit down on the mat. We're going to roll through our lower backs down onto the mat. In the previous two videos, we reviewed imprint and neutral pelvic position. So that's what we're going to do now. So from our neutral pelvic position here, inhale. And on the exhale, go into your imprint. Contracting all layers of the abdominals. Inhale, release it to neutral pelvis. On the exhale, go into imprint. And inhale, release to neutral. I'm going to show you another little trick on how you can check on yourself. Take your thumb and place it on your lowest rib. Take your pinky finger and put it on your hip pointer. When you go into imprint, those 2 points are going to come slightly closer to each other. So you should be able to feel it and see it. Inhale, here you're in neutral. Exhale, go into your imprint, contracting your abdominals down into the spine. Those two fingers get slightly closer together. Inhale, release to neutral. Exhale into imprint. And inhale, release. Now we're going to test our imprint to see if we can hold imprint while lifting both legs up. So inhale here in neutral. On the exhale, go into imprint. Don't forget you can tighten the Kegel muscles as well. And then take one leg, bring it up to a 90 degree. And take the second leg, bring it up to 90 degrees. Take the first leg back down to the mat and the second leg down to the mat. Inhale, release to neutral. So if you can hold imprint while both legs are in the air, that'll be key to doing a lot of the exercises we do in Matwork Pilates. Okay, we're going to start now warming up the hip joints. We're going to go into our hip release warm-up. If you are on a sticky mat, if your foot cannot slide on your mat, go ahead and scoot to the end of the mat so that you have your foot on a slidable surface. We're going to start with our right leg. We're going to inhale, let that knee open as comfortable, as wide as comfortable. Lengthen that leg out through the hip joint, rotate it in, draw it up on the big toe. So it's an inhale to open and lengthen. Exhale, draw it up. Warming up the hip joint here, using the rotators, both external and internal. Inhale, open. Lengthen, exhale. Now we're going to reverse direction. So it's an inhale, lengthen the leg out, then rotate it out. Exhale, close. Inhale, lengthen. Knee to side. Exhale to close. Inhale, lengthen. Knee. One more on the right leg. Inhale as we lengthen the leg. Rotate it out to the side. Exhale and onto the left leg. Inhale, left knee opens as far as comfortable. Lengthen it out. Rotate it in, draw it up on its big toe. Inhale, open, lengthen, exhale. So you'll notice the foot is always in contact with the mat through this warm-up. We're not lifting the leg. We're simply sliding the foot along the mat. Reversing directions here. Inhale, leg lengthens out, then rotates out. Exhale to close. Have a look at your right knee. Make sure it stays pointed straight up to the ceiling. Inhale. One more like this. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to close. We're going to go onto our side and warm up our spine in rotation. If you have a yoga block, you'll use it to support your head. If you don't, you're going to use your bottom hand and arm to support your head. So we're going to line ourselves so that our shins are lined up with the front of the mat. We're going to pull our knees up so that we have a 90-degree angle between torso and femurs. We're going to pretty much glue these knees together because when we rotate, we don't want to go so far that we pull the hip here. We want to keep the knees together and only go as far as we comfortably can with our knees together. 4-count breathing here. It's going to be an inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale as you rotate. Inhale here. And exhale to close. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. And the eyes track the hand through the rotation. Inhale, feel that chest expansion in the rib cage, and exhale, pull to close. 2 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, rotate. Feel the chest expansion here on your inhale. Then pull the abs in and close. 1 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, rotate as far as comfortable. Stay here to inhale. And exhale, close. Same thing on the other side. Okay, 90-degree angle, knees stay together. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. Eyes are tracking the hand throughout the motion. Stay here to inhale. And exhale to close. Inhale, reach. Exhale, try to enjoy this stretch here. Inhale, fill that top rib cage with air. Exhale to close. Inhale, reach. Exhale, rotate. Inhale here. And exhale, close. 1 more. Inhale, reach. Exhale, rotate. Inhale here. And exhale to close. Good. Go on to all fours. We're going to warm up the spine with the cat stretch. So starting here in a solid 4-point stance, pelvis is in neutral. Inhale to prepare. And on the exhale, go into cat stretch. Reach that spine right up to the ceiling. Inhale at the top. And exhale as you release down, straight spine, neutral pelvis. Inhale here. Exhale into cat stretch. Abs pull up into the spine. Inhale. And exhale down. Inhale here. Exhale, cat stretch. As the spine reaches up, the tailbone and the head are stretching down toward the mat. Inhale. And exhale down. 1 more cat stretch. Inhale here. Exhale into cat stretch. Abs are pulling up. Inhale. And exhale back to a straight spine, neutral pelvis. All right, go ahead and sit down onto the mat. We're going to roll down onto the mat. That means we roll through our lower back on the way down. Legs will stay bent. We're going to warm up all the muscles that are around the scapula and back. So let's start with shrugging the shoulders up. Let's inhale, shrug the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale with light pressure in the fingertips, reach down towards your heels. Inhale, shrug the shoulders. Exhale, slide the scapula down. Inhale, shrug, where we really never want to see your shoulders in Pilates. Exhale, slide them down. This is where we want to see them. Inhale, shrug, and exhale, slide. Now let's take the hands up to the ceiling. Palms are facing each other. We're going to inhale, reach up to the ceiling, and exhale, bring the arms down, and then pull them down into the shoulder sockets so you feel those scapulas squeezing. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale, arms come down and squeeze the scapula on your back. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Last one. Inhale, reach to the ceiling. Exhale, arms down and squeeze the scapula, and then just release your arms to their normal position. We're going to do arm circles. Inhale here. On the exhale, take those arms as far overhead as comfortable. You certainly do not have to touch the ground behind you. And then inhale to circle the arms down to your sides. Exhale, arms go all the way up and overhead. Inhale, circle the arms down to your sides. Exhale, keep the rib cage from popping here. That's the job of the obliques. Last one, exhale. And inhale as you circle down. Good. We are going to go on to our stomach to do our breaststroke warm-up. So that's the warm-up specifically for the back muscles. And since we're doing extension exercises today, we want to have a good warm-up. People's bodies are going to vary significantly with their ability to rise up off the mat. So the first warm-up we do, we're going to have our arms here for support. After you do one of these, you're going to probably want to move your arms around until you find that spot that is comfortable for your body. When we do the breaststroke warm-ups, the the back of the body stays down. You might think about lightly pressing the tops of your feet into your mat if that helps anchor your lower body down. You're going to reach out through the crown of the head, but the lowest rib never leaves the mat. So we're really only warming up the upper thoracic here. Starting down here with our noses close to the mat, we're going to inhale as we draw the shoulder blades down our back. We're going to exhale as we lengthen out through the crown. Now your eyesight is just going to be ahead of you on the mat. So here's what I don't want to see. This is not, the cervical vertebrae here is not in a good position. So we always lengthen out through the crown, and then we exhale, lower back down to the mat. Inhale, shoulders move. Exhale, lengthen out through the crown. You can pull your belly button up off the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, lengthen the spine to the mat. One more. Inhale, shoulder blades move down. Exhale, body lengthens out through the crown of the head. Inhale here. And exhale, down. Second hand position, if you wish to try it, is with the arms straight at your sides and the palms facing into the thighs. The movement is the same, but you're only hovering when you come up. You are likely not going to come up as high, and that's perfectly fine. So you're going to be down here. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, lengthen that body into one long line. Pull your belly button up off the mat. Inhale, and exhale, lower and lengthen. Inhale, shoulder blades move. Exhale, body lengthens. The crown of your head is reaching away from the tailbone. Inhale, and exhale, down. Inhale, shoulder blades slide. Exhale, body lengthens into one long line. Inhale, and exhale, down. Third and last hand position, if you choose to try it. This one is certainly the hardest. We're adding weight to the end of the lever here. So you may not be able to come up much at all. You should feel no discomfort in your lower back. If you do, go back to hand position 1 or 2. We're going to keep the hands on the forehead as we lift the upper thoracic off the mat. Inhale, slide the shoulders back. Exhale, lengthen the body out through the crown of the head. Inhale at the top. And exhale, lengthen the spine down. Inhale, shoulders slide. Exhale, body lengthens. Inhale. And exhale, down. One more. Inhale, shoulders slide. Exhale, lengthen out through the crown, belly button up. Inhale. And exhale, down. Go ahead and take those hands to the sides of the chest. Press up into all fours and sit back into a shell stretch. You can take those knees slightly wide to allow the torso in between them. I want you to concentrate on stretching the muscles that run alongside the spine. So think about your sacrum falling heavy toward the floor. I'm going to show you on Kim what I want you to concentrate on. Right here. Yep. I want you to think of lengthening this part of the body when you're in this stretch. So think about pulling from both legs, because these are the muscles we want to stretch out after we've worked extension in the spine. Once you have had enough stretch, you're going to exhale, pull the belly in, roll up through that spine, stacking one vertebra at a time on top of the other until you are seated upright. And we're going to start with our first extension exercise. One of the things, now I'll tell you when we're down on the mat. Heel squeeze prone position. Do you remember that position? Yeah. I'm showing you this first because this is a good position anytime we're down on our stomachs. If you feel any discomfort in your lower back, and I am a body that always feels that when I'm on my stomach, this is the position you go into to save your lower back regardless of what exercise we're doing. But there is actually an exercise called heel squeeze prone, and we're going to start with that one. So, rather than our legs being straight, we're going to bend at the knee. We are going to put our heels together and flex our feet. Kim, a little less, bring your knees slightly closer together. You don't need to be, there you go, because that'll allow you to squeeze better here. So roughly a 90-degree angle here. And this is an exercise for the glutes and the hamstrings. Upper body stays down and out. Anytime we're on our stomach, you'll get into the habit. Think of always pulling the belly button up off the mat. That's going to contract the abdominals. That's going to help save the lower back from getting squeezed too much. Now, when we do heel squeeze prone, we are not trying to lift the feet toward the ceiling. We are not lifting the legs at all. We are simply squeezing the glutes and lengthening the legs onto the mat. So let's try it. Inhale to prepare. And on an exhale, you squeeze the heels together, you squeeze the glutes, and then inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. Pull that belly button right up off the mat, and inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze. And inhale, release. I want you to think about, keep going, Kim. I want you to think about when you squeeze, think about lengthening out these hip flexor muscles onto the mat, and inhale, release. 2 more. Exhale, squeeze. And inhale, release. Last one. Exhale, squeeze the heels, contract the glutes, belly button up, and inhale, release. Go ahead, one leg at a time. You can go down to the mat. That is our position we go to, regardless of what other exercise we're doing, if we feel any discomfort in the lower back. Now, that's the easy one, because everybody can do that essentially. If you have some props available to you, I'm going to show you a couple of other options. If you are feeling any discomfort either lying on your stomach or in your lower back whenever we do extension exercises. These little mats are not specific to Pilates. I bought them at Lowe's. They are gardening pads. $10 each, and to top it all off, they're also antibacterial. These guys are so versatile to helping us get into positions where our body doesn't hurt. So there's a couple of options with these anytime we go down onto our stomach. One of them is to put them under each hip pointer. So here's my hip pointers, and I'm going to put them right onto the mat. That's going to lift me up about an inch, inch and a half, and sometimes that's enough to take the discomfort out of our bodies when we're lengthening out. This feels better to me than being on the flat floor, right? So you can try that position. You can try stacking them and putting both hip pointers on them. This is obviously going to raise you up higher. It should make it feel even better if you have any discomfort when we do extension. That feels to me like I'm hardly working at all, because now my pelvis is raised up. It gives my upper thoracic body much more extension and feels nice. You don't have to get these. You can experiment at home with pillows. If you stack pillows right under your hip pointers, you're lifting your pelvis up, which gives you greater extension through the thoracic. This guy is super helpful. I love this one. This is a Stop Pilates prop. It's called an arc barrel. It's padded, so it's soft. This would give me even more lift, right? So sometimes, and we're going to go into the Swan Dive a little bit later, that's probably the most aggressive of the extension exercises we do. And you can play around with positioning, and you do not want to eat a big meal before you do this. But look at how much extension I can get here that I couldn't get before when I was on the floor. This one helps a great deal. So you're probably not going to go out and buy one of these just for one exercise, but I wanted to show you there's different props available so that we can make our bodies fit the exercise without discomfort. So again, to review, the first thing you'll try is heel squeeze prone position. Then you can try little pads under your hip pointers, or start stacking up pillows to get even higher off the ground. If you have a big old physio ball, it's almost a slightly different exercise though when you're that high up off the mat. Okay, having said that, we did our breaststroke preps, and remember we kept our lowest rib on the mat, so let's go into the full breaststroke exercise now. So we're on our stomachs, and that felt so nice. I'm going to have a pad under my hip pointers. The arms are here, at least they start here. Once we are into the breaststroke exercise, the torso doesn't come down. So this is only our starting position. Legs here can be together if that's comfortable for your body, or hip distance apart, probably more comfortable for more people. I'm going to show you once the exercise, and then I'll cue you through it. So what we're going to do on the exhale, arms dart overhead, And then on the inhale is when we're lengthening the body out through the crown. Again, what I don't want to see here is this. And I know you're probably trying to look up at your screen, right? But really be conscious of keeping the head in alignment. So I'll show you, Kim, take a break because I'm going to make you do it again. I'm going to show you what a head in alignment looks like. Okay, go ahead and lengthen out through the crown of the head, which is here. But I want to keep this relatively in line. The cervical vertebrae, go ahead and relax. They are small and they are delicate. We do not want to damage them or injure them. And one of the key things I see, and I know, when you're in a Pilates class, you often want to look up at the instructor. I get that. But the rule of thumb, when we're doing flexion exercises, would be to have about a fist width between the chin and the sternum. And when we're doing extension exercises, it's more like a grapefruit under there. You can get a bit more extension through the cervical, but I don't want your chin pointing up. Okay, so that's the safety feature. Again, anytime we're on our stomach doing extension exercises, think of pulling the belly button up off the mat. That will also help protect that lower back. Here we go. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades down and back. Exhale, arms dart overhead. And then inhale, lengthen the body into one long line. Exhale, and inhale, lengthen. Exhale, inhale, belly button up. Exhale. Your eye line is going to be just ahead of you on your mat. Inhale as you lengthen the body. Exhale, and inhale. Last one. Exhale, inhale, lengthen the body. Hands come down to the sides of the chest. Press up into all fours, and you can sit back into a nice shell stretch. Just stretch out the muscles along the spine. When you are ready to exhale, go ahead and roll up, pull the belly in, shoulders will drop into place, and you're upright. Okay, the next exercise, I'm debating. We have several water-named exercises. That was breaststroke. Let's do swimming next. Swimming is an example again. If you are a body where even when we're doing the breaststroke preps, you feel like you're not moving at all, like you're not hardly getting up off your mat, then you should use props. So on the swimming, I'm going to show you the full intermediate level swimming exercise first, and then I'm going to back it off using modifications for your body. So the full swimming exercise, we start extended. My legs are always parallel, and it's basically flutter kick with arms and legs. But once we're up, we stay up. So think about pulling that belly button up off the mat, and think about not raising the chin up like I'm doing here. Okay, inhale to prepare. On the exhale, arms and legs are in a flutter kick, and your eyes are just ahead of you on the mat. Just keep breathing, and the object is never to get the arms and legs up high. It is to get them out as long as you can. Legs reaching out from the hip joints, arms reaching out from the shoulder joints. And inhale, reach all 4 points as long as you can, and exhale down to the mat. That's hard to talk and do that at the same time. So now we're going to back it up with modifications. That's the full intermediate level, if that motion does not bother your lower back. If it does, we can always prop up the pelvis off the mat. This is a gem on this exercise. This one, and you can play around with the position of where you want your pelvis, but this makes it, and you might have difficulty with fluttering because you're going to have to balance front to back, but a basic exercise you can do is reach one arm and opposite leg, arm and opposite leg. Exhale, reach, inhale down, exhale, reach, inhale down. So if you can stack pillows to mimic the arc barrel, this will make you feel much more successful doing all these face down exercises if you don't feel like you have a great deal of mobility in the upper thoracic. Then you can also do, without props, the all fours. This is what we used to call the Superman. So it's opposite leg, opposite arm, and down. Opposite leg, opposite arm. Kim's going to keep going while I talk. So you have to be very careful. There's a lot of things you can do incorrectly when you're in this position. And the number one thing would be to arch the lower back. So you're actively pulling the abs up when you reach so that you don't do that. So again, the emphasis is not on how high the arm and leg can go. It's only on how long you can make them. So I would much rather see you reaching just, a few inches off the ground than arching your back to get the arm and leg up higher. The other thing, which is very difficult to see on yourself, is we want to keep the pelvis parallel to the floor. So Kim, yes. So what I don't want to see is that she lifts, yes. You don't want to lift that side of the pelvis when we lengthen out. Okay, what else? Chin. Chin needs to be in alignment so that you're not looking up when you're doing this. You're using a lot of abdominals as well. So this is actually, it makes it easier for people who have trouble being on their stomach. But what it does is when you take the mat and the ground out from underneath you, now you have to use your abs to support your torso. So it's not only back muscles working, it's abs as well. So this can be intense, but it can also be more successful for people who don't have a lot of extension in the upper thoracic. One more. Beautiful. And you're done. So those are all the different modifications we can do just to that exercise of swimming to make everybody's body feel comfortable doing it. Perhaps the last one we're going to do today, and this is the one I said was the most aggressive of the extension exercises in Matwork, is the Swan Dive. So we're going to do, I think I'll do the same thing. I'm going to start with the full intermediate level exercise, and then we'll back it off with modifications to show you how to be more successful with your own body. So the full Swan Dive, and this one always bothers my lower back. So the full Swan Dive would be done with legs a little bit wider than normal, so you can take the legs out to the edges of the mat. You can also externally rotate the legs. That's going to make some people's bodies feel better. And we're going to start, we are going to lift the lower body as well as the upper body. So let me show you one intermediate level Swan Dive and how it's going to look. Arms will start out. Remember in the breaststroke preps we said the lowest rib never leaves the mat. Well, in the Swan Dive it does. We're going to actually lift the entire rib cage, if possible, off the mat. So it's going to look like this. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades down. Exhale, lengthen through the crown, then press into the palms, pull the abs up, squeeze the glutes. Inhale here, and then exhale, the lower body is going to lift as the upper body comes down. And then exhale, press into the palms, upper body up. Inhale down, lower body up, and relax down into the mat. So the Swan Dive at the intermediate level, both the back and the front of the body are coming up off the mat in alternate times. The part I see done most incorrectly on this exercise is not the legs. Either you can lift your legs or you cannot. But the upper body, there are so many things we have to watch for to make sure you keep in proper alignment when you're doing this exercise. So the first thing we're going to do is back off lifting the legs at all, and we're just going to concentrate on lifting the upper body. So I'm going to use Kim again as an example. The number one thing people will do wrong is try to straighten their arms. Well, what that does is they then have their shoulders way up here by their ears, and the scapula in a terrible position. You're only going to come up as far as you can, keeping your scapula down back. So scapula are going to draw down and back here. Sometimes I say, think about if these are your scapula lying on your rib cage and back, you're drawing them down and slightly into a V shape on your back. You should be able to feel that on your back before you extend out through the crown of the head. Okay, inhale, draw the shoulder blades down and back. Exhale, lengthen out through the crown and then press into the palms. Good. Inhale at the top and exhale down. Excellent. Kim, do you feel any discomfort here? Good. So this is a nice example because Kim has a nice healthy spine. I don't think I could achieve this level of extension without pain in my lower back. So That is within the range of motion of a healthy spine. Let's try it again. Inhale, draw the shoulder blades down and back. Exhale, lengthening out from the crown, then press it. Squeeze the glutes, pull the abs up. Inhale here, and exhale, lengthen out through the crown as you go down to the mat. So notice how nicely she's keeping her shoulders down. Show me a bad one, Kim, where you're gonna shrug your shoulders up just in order to straighten those arms, right? Look at this. So bend the elbows. Yes, pull those shoulder blades down, even if that means you only come a little bit off the floor. We don't sacrifice the alignment just to get higher off the mat. Okay, you can lengthen down. So one of the things I want you to think about, when you're coming down, it's often the elbow that's going to hit the mat first because you don't have to straighten the arms. If you can straighten the arms without pain and staying in perfect alignment, go for it. But if you can't, you're going to have a bend in the elbows, and the elbows are going to touch down to the mat first, and then the rest of the spine goes down. Okay, now let's try the whole thing. So the intermediate level Swan Dive on Kim. So inhale, draw the shoulder blades down and back. Exhale, lengthen out through the crown, press into the palms, abs are pulling up, squeeze here. Inhale. Now, as your upper body goes down, you're squeezing the glutes and lengthening the legs. Now press into the palms again to let the legs come down. Upper body comes up. Inhale here, and then down. Lower body comes up, and then, yep. Let's do one more. Legs come up, and upper body up. Now leave the legs down. Simply lengthen out through the crown on your way down to the mat. Beautiful. That is a great example of the intermediate level Swan Dive. Okay. All the different props I talked to you about earlier, you can use the same things to do Swan Dive. You can go into heel squeeze prone position to do Swan Dive. If it still bothers your back, if you still feel discomfort in your back, then don't do this exercise. There are some people who should not do it, and perhaps it has to do with lower back disc issues. So make sure you know whether you are able to do this exercise before you attempt it. You are in you're in extension of the spine, and if you've had any kind of surgery or if you've had any kind of disc injuries, you need to ask your doctor or PT before you do this exercise, or actually any of the extension exercises. What we're trying to do when we try not to arch the lower back, when you arch the lower back, every one of those discs in your lumbar spine is getting squeezed. So we want to prevent that, and that's that pulling up of the belly button, so that we're not arching the lumbar spine when we go into extension. That is it for today for exercises. We're going to stretch out with the spine stretch forward, because that's always a nice stretch to end with when we've worked our back muscles. So for spine stretch forward, we did this one in the first video too. Legs are about hip distance apart. You imagine you are seated up against a wall, and you imagine you have this little round ball sitting in your lap. We are simply going to peel the spine off the wall, rounding forward over the ball. But again, this is not a hamstring stretch, so we're not shifting the pelvis forward. The pelvis, the sit bones stay pointed straight down. We're just curling the spine down as far as we can without moving that pelvis. So pretend you're buried in cement right up to those sit bones. Inhale here, reach the ears up to the ceiling. Exhale, start with a chin knot and peel one vertebra at a time off that wall, curling forward over that ball in your lap until you're down as far as your spine goes. Then inhale here. And then exhale, pull the abs in, stack those vertebrae one at a time onto the next until you're vertical, and then inhale, reach those ears up to the ceiling. Exhale, chin knot, peel that spine off the wall, one vertebra at a time, rounding forward over the ball in your lap. Inhale here, pull the abs in, exhale, roll up, shoulder blades will fall down into place, head will come up last. Inhale tall, and exhale, peel down. This time we're going to stay down here for 2 full breaths. So inhale here. Stay here, exhale. Inhale here. Pull the abs in, exhale. Roll that spine back up the wall. And one more just like that. Inhale, reach the ears tall to the ceiling. Exhale, chin knot, peel down one vertebra at a time. Inhale here. Stay here to exhale. Inhale here. And exhale. Roll back up the spine. And I should show you one modification on this exercise too, because if sitting like this is uncomfortable for you, so say you're feeling a real gripping in the hip flexors here, or you're feeling discomfort in the lower back, or your hamstrings are tight, you can of course prop yourself up on any of these things, or just get a regular chair. Ooh, I see a little prop I'm going to pull into place here. It just happens to be in the room, which is this. So you can do this exercise seated on any chair, and then you're just peeling yourself off the wall and rolling back up. Once you bend the legs, you take that lower back right out of it. You take the hip flexors right out of it. So you should feel good in the lower back if you're seated on a chair. So that's a simple prop that we should all have when we're at home. That's it for today. That's the extension exercises I wanted to demonstrate. Thanks to Kim again for coming in. We hope these videos are helpful for you at home. Until we can meet in the studio again, keep doing Pilates, and we'll see you then. Stay healthy. Bye-bye.